Before we proceed further, request you to please subscribe to our channel as shown above. Hello friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology. We have been receiving a lot of questions recently. If Russia will invade Ukraine. So in this video, I will show you what planetary alignments are there and whether this is actually going to happen, and if at all it is going to happen, when will it happen and how will it happen. We will see all of this in this video. So get geared for the next slide which is coming up, and this will be an interesting video. Now if you see this diagram, on the left side you have the chart of Ukraine. So Ukraine was earlier a part of Russia and it was formed as an independent country on 24th August 1991 at 6 p.m. in a place called Kiev. Now if you look at this chart carefully, you will see a blue circle which represents the Lagna or the ascendant, and you can see that Ukraine has a Capricorn ascendant or Makar Lagna, and the ascendant lord Saturn is present in the sign of Capricorn with the moon, which means when Ukraine was formed, a Sadesati was going on in that time period for Makar Rashi, which is also the rising sign of Ukraine, which shows that when Ukraine was formed, there was a lot of tension going on. Since the moon, that is the mind, is influenced by Saturn, it shows that this country will always be in stress and threat. Now to look at war, you need to understand that the 6th house is the house of conflicts. It is the house of litigation, debts, diseases. It is also the house of enemies. So who is the 6th lord in this chart? Clearly the sign of Mithun or Gemini, where you can see the letters KE representing Ketu placed in that sign, is the 6th house, and therefore Mercury or Budh is the 6th lord. Where is the 6th lord placed? It is placed in the 8th house of Leo, conjunct 3 other planets, Jupiter, Venus and Sun. Now the 6th lord indicates enemies. The 8th house indicates secrets, transformations, buried things, conspiracies. Let us also look at Jupiter in this chart. Currently Ukraine is undergoing the Jupiter Mahadasha, as you can see the chart on the right side. Now Jupiter rules the 3rd house of Mean or Pisces and the 12th house of Dhanu or Sagittarius. Now the 3rd house represents a country's neighbors, its borders. The 12th house represents foreign connections. Okay, and the 8th house which is there, that represents secrets, conspiracies. Now you can see the 3rd and the 12th lord Jupiter is placed in the 8th house, conjunct the 6th lord Mercury and the 8th lord Sun, which means that a neighboring country with some support from foreign connections will conspire against Ukraine and possibly launch an attack on this country very soon. If you see the Pratyantar Dasha chart, currently the Mahadasha going on was Jupiter Mahadasha. The Antardasha going on is the Venus Antardasha. And the Sun Pratyantar Dasha was activated till 13 January 2022. So this was a period when there was a lot of tension and Russia has started building up arms and troops in the border areas of Ukraine, which means that it is planning something against Ukraine. So clearly it shows that the month of January was the time when extensive planning, troop deployment was taking place. Let us look at the current transit also. Right now, Saturn is in the sign of Capricorn or Makar. So it is a Saturn return for Ukraine, which means Ukraine is also undergoing a Sadesati currently. Secondly, now this Saturn is going to enter the Dhanishta Nakshatra on 18th February 2022. Dhanishta Nakshatra is controlled by Mars, and Mars represents aggression, Mars represents fighting. So when Saturn enters into the Dhanishta Nakshatra, it can trigger a war. Another interesting thing is that in the sign of Capricorn, Mars is going to enter on 26th February 2022. And when Mars and Saturn are in the same sign, that too in the ascendant of Ukraine, it indicates some problems such as an external attack or secret conspiracies which will try to take away portions of lands of Ukraine in that time period. So after 26th February, there is a very strong possibility that Russia will launch attacks on different parts of Ukraine. Now let me tell you, this is not going to be an all-out war. Small portions of Ukraine will be taken over by Russia in a gradual manner. On 27th February 2022, there is a 5-planet conjunction which occurs in the sign of Capricorn or Makar, which indicates a very tough time for Ukraine. Another interesting thing is that the 6th Lord is in the 8th house, the 12th Lord is in the 8th house. It forms a Viparit Rajyog. So Ukraine does get support from certain foreign countries such as USA and other allied countries who are a part of NATO. But definitely, if Russia does invade Ukraine, these countries will not give complete support. They might impose certain sanctions on Russia, but they will not completely support Ukraine and come out to fight with Russia. Moreover, Ukraine is currently not a part of the NATO alliance also. So the Viparit Rajyog which is there, that benefits Ukraine in a very limited manner. Now if you see the month of April and May, you can see that Jupiter Mahadasha is there, Venus Antardasha is there, and Mars Pratyantar starts. Now when Mars Pratyantar starts, there is a very strong chance of a war, an all-out war by Russia on Ukraine. So the current planetary positions do suggest that Russia is going to attack Ukraine, but it will not be an all-out war, and I will explain why it is not so at this point. Now I also looked at Russia's chart, and in Russia's chart, the current Mahadasha is that of Rahu. The current Antardasha is that of Moon till 17th April 2022. The Moon is the mind, Rahu is conspiracies. So it indicates Russia is planning something, and this planning will go on till 17th April 2022. After that, the Mars Antardasha starts within the Rahu Mahadasha for Russia, which means that this is the time when Russia will be extremely aggressive, and the attacks in small ways may be carried out by Russia. So the period from April to May is when mini wars can take place and Russia can slowly start snatching pieces of Ukraine, and whenever NATO objects or some sanctions come, Russia will declare a ceasefire. On 29th April 2022, Saturn transits into the sign of Aquarius or Kumbh, and from there it directly aspects the 8th house of Ukraine, which means that the time after 29th April is a very dangerous time, and this is the time when there could be a real war between Russia and Ukraine. So friends, this is my analysis of whether Russia will invade Ukraine, when it will invade Ukraine, and how it will invade Ukraine. If you like this video, do mark it as liked on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to our channel Kamath Astrology, please do so by clicking the subscribe button. For consultations or queries, email us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com and we'll be glad to assist you. You can also visit our website astroseva.tripod.com. So friends, thanks a lot. Bye. Take care and stay safe.